What's going on, Jerome's? Your Minnesota Vikings got it done Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals in dramatic come-from-behind fashion, 23-22. Head coach Ken McConnell fed the local media jackals on Monday. Another Victory Monday presser. Another one. No hat. Disappointed. Hoodie model. Anyways, said some stuff and some things and some stuff. So diving on in. First up, proud of the team. Face adversity. Happy to get a win. And this is a 10-win team. That's something that he stressed in his post-game locker room comments as well. And also, when the Cardinals kicked a field goal to go up 6 versus just going for it, it was good because knowing that they needed a touchdown at the end allowed them to have a more aggressive 4-down mentality. That's exactly what Olsen said in the broadcast, and it's exactly right. Like, a 6-point lead is kind of pointless, right? And you still have that pucker factor a little bit where, as Olsen explained, like if you go up if you're still up 3, like another team will settle for the field goal, right? But if you're up 6, like they're going to go for the jugular and go for the touchdown. All right. And also, if you just go for it in that spot, like you have a chance to either run out the clock or get a touchdown yourself. So, yeah. Talk about Stephon Gilmore, low-grade hamstring injury. So it's an A- in an Asian household. It's a low grade. That's right. What do you mean B? You mean you'll be homeless if you don't get A. I think I can do that voice. Yeah. Not a long-term. Not ruling out this week, but we'll see. The Vikings in general have been very cautious when it comes to injuries. He did think that Fabian Moreau played well versus Arizona, and I kind of thought about it too. I mean, the Harrison touchdown was what it was. Harrison is just a beast, but the third and long DPI was ridiculous, and the one where he interfered where it would have been a touchdown, I mean, would you rather he just give up a touchdown? So he just took one for the team there. So overall, like, Moreau is solid as a veteran. O'Connell didn't rule out adding to the roster, but he did shout out Nudie McLaughlin. He did say that Nudie's on the practice squad, except Nudie's on the 53. So I'm thinking he just misspoke, or I don't know, that's something that's in the pipeline to free up a roster spot. Who knows? Did mention that kicker Will Rockard, Will the Thrill, as well as Andrew Bagels, Apollo, long snapper extraordinaire, opened up their 21-day return to practice window, and they're going to evaluate them this week. In their stead, John Parker Roma, Jake McQuaid have been phenomenal. They've been really solid. Even though Parker Roma missed a kick yesterday, yeah, he's been pretty damn solid. He did nail one from 55 yesterday as well. Tight end Josh Oliver, all right. Expect to return to practice this week versus the Falcons, but dealing with ankle and wrist issues. Yeah, it would be good to have him back. Just adding physicality, especially in the run game. It's going to be really good, man. Also, Oliver's been great as a receiver this year as well. Plus, scheming up ways to get Justin Jefferson touches. And you've seen the way that they've manufactured things, sometimes putting him in motion, in the slot, in the backfield, just whatever it takes. And doing it early in drives to set the tone and get the chains moving and really prime the pump on some of these. Smart. Shouted out Darnold's mobility and situational awareness, where not only is it him breaking pocket, even though I still feel like there's some of them he hangs onto the ball too long, but yeah. But able to scramble and avoid a sack, even though he did have 5 sacks yesterday, including 3 on third down. But also, when you got to get things moving, get the team on the ball if you want to keep keep the defense in a personnel trap. It's really smart and heady by the quarterback there. Plus, the Vikings, finding different ways to win, and every game is different, and like the mentality that he had to have versus the Cardinals, where they had to go get it late with a comeback, or versus how they approach things with the Jaguars, where they had to lead, they're kicking field goals. Darnold was turning the ball over all the place. That changes how your strategy shifts at the end of some of these games as well. Plus, close games, and people complain about, the Vikings don't win by enough, so they can't be good. But he did mention, the margin of victory does tell some of the story. But if you're continuing to stack up these wins, and he also mentioned, importantly, you're not getting your doors blown off in some of your losses, that's important. I mean, because the Vikings' 2 losses this year are by 2 points against the Lions, and, well, it should have been 8 against the Rams, but of course it's safety, so that's a double-digit loss there. That's a loss. Yeah. So that all does matter at the end of the day, and history doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if you're the 2-time reigning defending champions like the Chiefs. It doesn't matter if you're the Love Losers. It doesn't matter if you're the Lions. It's a matchup league, and it's 11 on 11, and may the best team win. And mentioned how we're 10-2 with our best football ahead of us. And, they talked about off-season planning where, getting your team together where you're starting to peak in December, which we just entered, it's going to be important. And he's absolutely correct, where it doesn't matter how you play September, October, if you just keep afloat, and the Vikings certainly did that. But are you playing your best ball in December, January, and then ideally February? Continued. He hadn't kept up with Kirk Cousins' tape with the Falcons outside of the Falcons win against the Eagles. And also he did mention how he worked with Atlanta OC Zach Robinson with the Rams every day for 2 years. A lot of respect for him as a play caller. And then also Aaron, also talked about how, Bijan Robinson is great, how they run a lot of wide zone of physicality, the Falcons do. Aaron Jones, so, conversation of confidence, after a rough game. And, Jones needed to be benched. I think even just for his sake, just to get back into a good mental place. And you're just going back to him as well, the conversation that I had on the sideline. I still have confidence in you. That's how leaders should operate. Consistency and authenticity, important to show players, because your players can tell BS, right? So if you have a hard-ass coach who all of a sudden is sunshine and lollipops, players are going to know something's up. Like, the BS detector is extremely high. And same thing, if you're a positive guy, all of a sudden if you want to be a fake hard-ass, it's not going to happen, man. So I love that Kevin O'Connell is comfortable in his own skin, and he's not afraid to be himself. And I think that authenticity does go a long way with the players, with ownership, as well as obviously with us fans here. Plus, talked about how Darnold, Darnold's been dropping some beauties lately, right? So the perfect up and down over the linebacker, where O'Connell talked about it was he called the same play as earlier in the game, except some shifting from Arizona strategically, changed up the coverage a little bit, and they thought that they could hit that, and they did. Just that, teardrop over the linebacker on the throw to Addison on the sideline was a thing of beauty. Plus, talked about Justin Jefferson's blocking, selfless leadership, and he does all the dirty things. It's not just about catching balls and touchdowns, but that certainly does come with it. But that's the thing too, like, it's like O'Connell and Phillips and McCardle talk a lot about blocking for receivers as opposed to everything else that goes along with the position. Darnold, playing the best ball of his career, especially given the situations where he had to have a comeback win yesterday, as well as a lead deteriorated against the Bears very quickly, and then Darnold had to sack up and have a big time drive, 6 for 6 for 90 yards in overtime. It's great, man. And Sam feels incredibly prepared and confident in his teammates. And he also mentioned there's not a lot of balls that Darnold has flat out missed this year. And you think about this, true. Like, there's a couple of balls that were dropped. The Aaron Jones one before the game winner. Also the Addison one from a couple weeks ago. It's like Sam Darnold's kind of dialed in right now, man. He absolutely is. Also dialed in Jalen Redmond. Unique traits as a rusher. Perfect fit for what they want to do with the scheme, attacking those gaps. Redmond is a huge part of the Vikings defense. They'll love to have him here. Addison, grown and matured, winning, getting separation. And that's the thing, too. It's like you see in the interview that Aaron Jones had with Jefferson and Addison, like, Jefferson and Addison, like, they understand each other. I think that they know that they're both going to be able to eat, but at different times. And they're a great duo. And really and you can tell, like, Jefferson's taken on a bit more of a mentor role for Addison. And hopefully Addison, walks the line and gets his stuff together, because I think that the kid has a chance to be a very talented player and very special player in this league. Also, mentioned how they're confident in any eligible receiver. Shouted out Johnny Munt, catch the touchdown. Josh Oliver, obviously, and company. Plus, shouted out Cam Robinson unprompted and having the best game of his Vikings career yesterday. And again, this is a whatever happens type team. Like, hey, Darisaw goes down, boom. Kwesi finds a starting caliber left tackle the next day or very soon after for basically nothing. And this is what the Vikings do this year. Next man up. Very special team. And you know what? 10-2 ain't bad for a rebuilding year, especially a team that everyone picked to finish last in the NFC North. Bring it on, man. But that's it. Kevin O'Connell's Victory Monday presser. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, his thoughts, everyone's thoughts. You know what to do. Skull, production value.